Hey guys, what's up? This is Mario here, bringing you guys another video, and today we're going to be going over the update 1.1.2 patch notes for Destiny, so hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this, and so here we go. So today Bungie has released the 1.1.2 patch. This is probably one of the biggest patches that Destiny has ever released, aside from the Dark Below. But we're going to be going over every single patch note in this video, so there's going to be a bunch of timestamps in the description if you want to skip to the sections that you want to skip to. We're going to be starting off with the main features though, so if you want to stick around just for now, then that will be fine. But yeah, let's get right into the patch notes. So as I mentioned, we'll begin with the spotlight improvements and additions. The first, and probably the most notable one to the community, is the fact that vault capacity has been increased to 24 armor slots, 36 weapon slots, and 24 general slots. There's also been disabled gear comparison in the vault on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, simply because there was a lot of RAM being lost to the comparison feature in the vault, and so you'll no longer be able to hold down the right trigger and compare your weapons when you're in the vault screen. Anyways, colorblind support for the Deuteranopia, Protanopia, and Tritanopia types have been added for highly color-driven gameplay elements, such as the motion tracker, the loot drops, the shield energy, and the item categories. Audio controls are now available in the settings menu for two different audio variants. There's volume control and music toggling, so you can turn on the music if you want, or you can turn down the entire game volume. Item lock now allows players to prevent gear and weapon items from being accidentally dismantled. And then finally, this is the most important feature in the patch. The purple ball has been reborn in the tower as an interactive sphere with a parallaxed energy core that grows with object velocity and tints based off time of day. So that is all of the spotlight improvements and additions, so let's move on to the weapons. So now we're on to the weapon fixes or patches in general, and we'll begin with the general weapon patches. They fixed the bug that caused a player to lose ammo when switching weapons while dead. They fixed the bug where ammo consumables did not reliably replenish ammo. The Pocket Infinity exotic fusion rifle behavior is less likely to fail during edge case conditions, and the Fourth Horseman weapon stats have been restored to the original intended values. So now we move on to the weapon perk fixes and patches. We'll begin with they updated Thorn's first-person player feedback poison effects. The White Nail perk no longer triggers on immune targets. The defensive reflex perk on the Don't Touch Me exotic gauntlets no longer triggers on a throwing knife hitting you. Performance bonus ammo on fusion rifles reduced to match shotguns and sniper rifles. They fixed an issue introduced in 1.1.1 that allowed Icebreaker to persist ammo after respawn. And that is all they did with the weapons. So now we'll move on to the general world patch. So now we move on to the part of the patch that is labeled World. This was what is in this section. Players can now choose to wear their helmets in social spaces. Quest loot pyramid baubles are now easier to spot. Added quest indicator badges to the tower when a quest is either completed or ready to turn in. Increased Crota's Bane reputation rewards on Eris Morn's bounties. Fixed a bug where Major Thralls had 2 jaws and 2 left hands. Fixed a bug where players equipped items and did not receive experience from completing missions. They fixed a bug where the Black Garden level 30 featured story was incorrectly listed at level 28. They fixed a bug where heavy ammo consumables were not available for purchase from Jeux. So this was already fixed, I think, for the past few weeks. But they've finally confirmed that it's been fixed. So that's all of the world patches. Now let's move on to the strikes. So for strikes, they patched 2 of the strikes in this 1.1.2 update. One of them was the Cerberus V3 strike, which is the Valos Taruk fight. The patches that they did for this is Valos Taruk's health has been reduced by 33%, and they reduced the number of major combatants in the Valos Taruk fight. And then the other strike that was patched was the Dust Palace strike, which is currently only exclusive to PlayStation, but will eventually become available to Xbox players. The 2 things that they did was they reduced the number of major combatants that spawn in the Scion Flayer fight, and they also lowered the strength of the Scion Flayer's shields. So that's all of the strike patches in this update. Now let's move on to the raid fixes. So there's been raid fixes for both the Vault of Glass and Crota's End. Let's begin with the Vault of Glass. The Vault of Glass will no longer display a highlighted activity notification despite players' best efforts to remove it. They fixed a bug where splash damage could penetrate the Aegis bubble or the, what's it called, the shield bubble, the cleansing bubble. The shield relic melee attack now land Minotaurs more consistently, and there is improved issues associated with walking through the teleport. Now let's move on to the Crota's end fixes. Crota will now wait until fully standing before a sword attack. That's a great fix, thanks for that, Bungie. They fixed a bug where the sword immediately despawned after killing a sword bearer, and swords will now last a full 30 seconds after being picked up. So now let's move on to the PvP changes, and there's actually quite a lot of them, so hopefully this will be good for some of you Crucible folks out there. But let's move on to the general PvP changes. So they greatly reduced the weighting of Blind Watch and Fire-based Delphi in Control, Iron Banner and Inferno Control playlists. They fixed a bug where a player that was killed by an enemy could commit suicide and be revived for points. They fixed a bug that prevented players from receiving points for neutralizing a control zone. And they fixed a bug where capture points were not properly disabled after the game ends. They also added incremental revive timers to skirmish and salvage game modes, so each time a teammate revives you, it will take longer before that you can be revived again, and it's currently 5 seconds after each revive. The stopping power medal now requires shotgun kills instead of sprees. The target practice medal now requires hand cannon kills instead of sprees, and the electrocution medal now requires fusion rifle kills instead of sprees. So now let's move on to the maps fixes in this patch. We'll begin with the anomaly map. They added invisible physics over the pool table to keep players from hiding. On the Shores of Time map, they added kill volume to the open edge of a cave to keep players from hiding. And the Burning Shrine, they moved the spawn point to fix camera view. So now let's move on to the ammunition changes, and this is probably the biggest change to Crucible. At the minute, crates are now visible for all players long before they're available to pick up, with a countdown timer added to show when they will arrive. Guardians no longer drop special ammo on death, lowered the amount of special ammo picked up from crates from 50% to 25%. Special ammo crate respawn time has been raised from 45 seconds to 120 seconds. They increased drop radius from when a friendly picks up a special crate from only 20 meters to 100 meters. They slightly increased interaction time on special ammo crate from 0.1 seconds to 0.8 seconds. They reduced the number of special crates on the map and relocated them, and this number's gone from around 6 to 8 crates on a map to 3 to 5 crates. These special and heavy ammo bricks now despawn when a player dies on a timer. It's 20 seconds for special ammo and 30 seconds for heavy ammo. Heavy ammo now lets everyone know which player or faction picked up the ammo, and there's increased warning time on heavy ammo from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. So as you can tell, there's been a lot of changes with the ammo crates in the Crucible. But anyways, let's move on to the rest of the patch, and the rest of this patch is kind of minor issues. So yeah, let's get right into it. So for UI fixes, there is new visual treatment to quest nodes and nodes that involve quest activities or steps. Players can now click the left stick to hide the UI when inspecting items for screenshotting/sharing purposes. They fixed a bug where precision kills did not appear correctly in the PGCR, and UI flyouts are now easier to navigate, for example the Amazon flyout menu. So now let's move on to the audio fixes. They fixed an issue where Stealth Vandal audio was being suppressed by gunfire or other loud sounds. The Titan Ward of Dawn now has audio indicators at low energy, so players can more easily read when it will time out. And players walking into enemy Ward of Dawns now hear a sound when blindness is applied. So now let's move on to the companion app. I think this is the companion app anyways. They fixed an issue where the Combined Arms Grimoire card was pointing to the wrong unlock conditions, and they fixed an issue where Grimoire cards were awarding the incorrect number of Grimoire points. So of course, you'll get probably more or less Grimoire points depending on how they fixed it. And finally, there's been a few technical issues that have been addressed. They fixed a rare soft lock when a player's internet connection drops, a clarified error that displays when user has insufficient hard drive space, and there's better handling of rest mode/resume on the PS4. So anyways, guys, that is literally every single update in this list. And I'm sorry that this took so long, but there is a lot of updates in this patch, so I won't keep you for any longer. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, remember to smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for daily gaming content. Remember to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Links in the description below, and I'll see you guys in another video. So until then, ciao.